Hi, this is Dr. Nick. I'm the Incrementalist here with incremental insights for a better business, better health. This week I thought I'd talk about vaccine trials and a lot of the news that's obviously breaking news that informs us that the Astrazeneca trial has been put on hold. This is perfectly normal procedure. This is what happens as part of trials and importantly around vaccine trials. And vaccine trials couldn't be more important in terms of a safety standpoint because we've had such a struggle persuading people that these are made as safe as possible. And to be clear, it is impossible to remove all possible risk from a vaccination that you give somebody. We know that vaccines cause, in very rare circumstances, some reactions, and for those that we know, we actually guide people not to have vaccinations. One of the reasons that we look for a widespread take-up of vaccination is because some people just can't have it. If you have some immune problems, particularly if you're immunosuppressed, that's one of the clear indications that vaccination may not be appropriate. And in each case, we look at it clinically and decide and take the appropriate risk measurements and make a decision in conjunction with the patient. In the case of trials, we've had a number of instances that we've learned from each and every time that is so incredibly important. And that's one of the things that gives me great hope in this pandemic crisis is all of this learning is being applied on an ongoing basis. So when you look back at some of the previous pandemics that have taken place, we've learned from those experiences and we're continuing to learn from those experiences. And that's important because in the case of vaccination and vaccine trials, we've learned from all of those experiences and they're built in to the sequence. We're now in a phase 3 that's extraordinarily accelerated. I don't think in the history of any vaccination development that we've ever seen that speed to a production vaccine that can then be made available, produced and distributed. But that's being done again with scientific oversight and with all of the appropriate controls. And in the case of this pause, that's what happens. Especially in phase 3, we start to broaden out. We're giving clinical doses. In the early phases, we don't give immune developing doses. We're looking more for side effects to try and remove any instance of those because we wouldn't want to cause any harm. And obviously there is some risk, and God bless those people that have signed up and said, I'm going to take on the possibility of both the trial of a new vaccine and potentially be in the placebo arm, which is also important as part of this so that we can determine whether it's actually effective or not. So all of this is an essential component, but you can't hurry vaccine development. Not love, to be clear, you can hurry. Well, no, you can't hurry love. That's one of those songs. But it's such a major part of the scientific process, and we paused it. We'll review it. There'll be deep clinical review. There's a little bit of detail about what that I believe a single case, and I don't know for sure, of a possible side effect to the vaccine. And we classify these side effects, as severe and, less severe. Less severe would be irritation in the arm at the injection site, perhaps a mild fever, those kind of things. Severe is anything, clearly that causes hospitalization. And I think that's, it's in that category that's certainly in the higher severity. So they're looking at the case, lots of clinical focus, the researchers, they'll be studying what happened. Is it related? It could just be a random association. That individual was going to have that problem anyway. It's unrelated to the vaccine. All has to be determined. But we pause and we make sure that nothing else is occurring. We've obviously got all of the people that are already engaged. So there's a number of folks, I don't know what the numbers are in that trial, already signed up. So they've had the dosage and we'll be reviewing their data and continuing to monitor them, and importantly, monitoring for that specific condition, especially if it's deemed to be associated with the virus. So this is a normal process, but the learning point from this is that we cannot rush this process. The last thing we need is to launch a vaccine that has not been proven safe and effective, and we can't risk that kind of release in a society that seems to distrust science and distrust all of the proven information that says vaccines save lives. And that's why we're being extraordinarily cautious in the approach, and we follow the science, not the politics. On a separate but related note, make sure you get your flu vaccine, because you can get flu as well as COVID-19, and it's important for all of our benefits that we try and reduce as much as possible because of the sharing of the symptoms and signs and the potential confusion and the overwhelming of the system. So please get your flu vaccination. This family already has, maybe a little bit early. This is the month for it. Now's the time. Go get your appointment. Make sure that you get that vaccine if indeed that's an appropriate clinical choice for you. And if it's not, then obviously you're hoping that all the other people will do so. Hopefully this is useful. If you want more insights, you need to reach out to me. Do so in the links below. We're always here to help and provide guidance as we continue to keep our businesses open and safely manage and operate our businesses in this COVID-19 pandemic. I'm Dr. Nick. I'm the Incrementalist, here with incremental insights for better business, better health.